I don't know if the term plot whiplash is a thing, but I'm going to coin it now. And the definition is this chapter. All right. So, last two chapters, nothing major happened. Like, not really. Not really at all. I mean, the conference with Guinness, that was really imposing and everything, but not a lot really happened. We got that one piece of information, really, about Toriko's demons. That was probably, like, the most substantial piece of information we got in the last two chapters. This chapter, however, goes from, like, 0 to 60, because I will explain to you the contents of this chapter very briefly. It's going through areas 5, 4, and 3 and just casually mentioning stuff that happens there and then moving on to area 2. That's it. Now, a lot of people have said Mitsutoshi's speeding up the story because Toriko is going to be ending soon. Now at first when I heard that, I was like, I don't want to. Nah, that's not what's going on. And then, it actually starts becoming noticeable, and I'm like, oh, okay. And now this chapter, I totally believe it. Well, anyway, we pick up where we left off. We have Komatsu and the gang arriving at Area 5. Buranchi and Zebra are there. Buranchi has just completed cooking news. Everything seems cool, and they just have a little bit of information about Area 5. So Area 5 in the gourmet world is home to the most dangerous creatures. I guess by, like, average capture level, it peaks at Area 5. All right, so that's probably around maybe 4,000, 5,000 around that area. Between that, that's like the strongest natural creatures in gourmet world. Of course, when you get to the 8 kings and like the ones that are like direct subordinates of the 8 kings, you get into like a whole other level. But as far as just like random creatures are roaming the area, by and large, Area 5 is the most dangerous. And in fact, Zebra and Brunch were about to get completely slaughtered by them, but then Acacia's A demon showed up, and that kind of distracted them. And that's another reoccurring theme here, is that with Acacia's A-Demon arriving in each one of these places, the 8 kings or the monsters that may originally have been dangerous to the main cast gathering the full course gets distracted by them. But other than that, there's really nothing of importance to note about Area 5 other than, like, the wicked strong creatures. They don't mention Sky Deer or anything what's up with that, despite the fact they're basically, like, standing on the Sky Deer as they leave. Most of these conversations take place in the back channel, by the way, as they are traveling using U to each part of the continents, each continent. So, yeah, they get news, and now remember, news is an ingredient that is... The taste of it is supposed to be incomprehensible without achieving another first, or without eating another. So Zebra brings up, like, you guys better have finished another, or else we can't even eat this thing. And they bring up, yes, of course, we've completed it. Zebra-san, everything's cool. And yeah, they just move right on to Area 4. And so they arrive at Area 4, and this is the area where the cave that ages you is located. Remember back in Area 8 when Mappy was kind of just hinting at various parts of the gourmet world that are really dangerous, and he says, oh, there's a gate that only souls can enter. And of course, that was the spirit gate in the last arc. And now we have the cave that ages you 200,000 times per second. So if you spend just an hour in that cave, it'll age you like 23 years. It's like ridiculous. So they arrive there and it's like, oh shit, how are we going to get through this cave? And Zebra uses echolocation and he's like, damn, this thing's huge. I mean, there's no way we're going to be getting in and out of there within a couple of hours. But then sure enough, out walks Livebearer and Sunny, completely fine. They're not aged at all. And they're like, hey guys, we captured Earth. I'm like, okay, great. So they explain exactly what was going on with Earth. Earth is, it was kind of hinted at what it was. It was like where all the sweetness in the world gathers together, and just they expand upon that just a little bit more, where the roots of all the flowers in the gourmet garden extend throughout the entire planet. So literally all the sweetness in the world is, gathered together at one spot in Area 4, which is what Earth is. And it kind of looked like a flower shaped like soft serve ice cream. So, by the way, even though they get 3 of the pieces of the full course in this manga chapter, they don't actually eat any of it. So they're gonna save that probably for like the big meal at the very end. But they've acquired Earth. Once again, they don't bring up anything involving Mother Snake or anything that happened there. They do bring up, though, the issue with the cave, because it's like, okay, how did you guys get through that cave? And it was like the funniest scene, because Sunny brought up like, oh, that's right, the cave, you fucking asshole, Gigi. We almost died in there. So they clearly had problems with it, but Livebearer just brings up like, oh yeah, we were having problems, but then we just encountered the civilization inside of the cave, and they helped us through it, and we got Earth, and turns out Yosaku and Manan were there, the gourmet magician dude. They were in the civilization. They're still alive, and they helped us out. And that's it. That's like, okay, Yosaku's alive, and there's a civilization, and they helped us get through the cave somehow, but we're not going to tell you how they managed to do it. Okay, on to Area 3. Like, that's what happens, okay? And I feel like we are rushing this. I feel like somebody just walked into Mitsutoshi's office, slammed a fucking pile of paperwork, and he's like, you're done by next year, so hurry this shit up. He's like, well, I still, like, I got like 3 little mini arcs I gotta tell. Like, I don't care. You need to wrap this up. Come on, buddy. So I'm getting I was expecting it, like I said, past few months, but I'm like, I hope they'll come back and reference this later. I hope so. Maybe. Fingers crossed. I don't know. Anyway, moving on to Area 3. It's a place that has a bunch of poisonous clouds. And Adam, by the way, is probably the weirdest fucking one of Acacia's full course menu, okay? And we don't know granted, we do not know what God is yet, and apparently Center can resurrect the dead, but when it comes to an ingredient, this is completely batshit. Like, Earth. Okay, you got entire roots that are absorbing the nutrients out of the planet and focusing it at one point. Okay, I mean, it's ridiculous, but in the context of manga, that's completely sane. News was apparently supposed to be just the meat of a sky deer. Another was like a spirit fish that can travel beyond the speed of light. Okay, ridiculous. Kind of punches physics in the testicles, but aside from that, not a big deal. Monkey King's balls, that's pretty normal. And then a giant fruit from a tree. I mean, that's completely fine. Here's what Adam is. So there is a volcano made of clouds in the sky, and that spits out magma that goes into space and absorbs a bunch of toxins, and I would assume like volatile radiation, and then falls back down into the sky in Area 3 and forms that waterfall we saw. And in order to prepare an Adam, you have to remove all the toxins from the space it absorbed, and then you can eat it or drink it. And apparently next to God and Center, it's like the hardest one to make. But that being said, Coco and Tyron did perfectly fine. They just show up and it's like Tyron's got the gourmet rucksack filled with to the freaking brim with Adam and everything's cool beans. They bring up a little bit that the bridge that was the Development Fever bridge that was used, and they and Shin Shin brings up, oh, this is where Cloud Tree was. This is where the Zeroth biotope was. But they don't go into elaborate detail. We don't know anything about Mensmith and the other guy, the Sakura, the other guy that went to go see Area 3. And for that matter, we don't know anything about the Goblin dude and the armor assassin dude from Area 5. What happened to them either? In fact, Komatsu brings up to Zebra, like, was there a civilization in Area 5? And Zebra's like, I don't fucking know. So that's that. We do have some interesting moments between them. We now move to the end where Gigi basically says, like, okay, now using these full courses, we're going to combine our efforts and get to Area 2 and then meet up with Toriko and then go to Area 1. And he brings this up because this is a very taxing process. Like, using the back channel to speed their way through all of this requires a lot of nutrients, which is where that Earth comes in handy. So they're going to be utilizing that. They say, okay, we're going to be using, we're going to be sending us, the members from the 10 shells, back to the human world to deliver the food, like Condor and everybody, and that's where some of them went already to go deliver the food back to human world, the full course there. And so we cut to these little scenes where we just see each of them kind of just giving thanks to each other. Even Zebra's like, hey, thanks, Buranch, for what's going on. Livebearer and Sunny, which originally Sunny was like grossed out by Livebearer. He's just like, I'm just glad I had you around. So, and so all these like hints that they had amazing adventures together were never, I don't want to say never, but it's looking like we're never going to find out. All right, so I'll say it. If we're moving at this pace for a reason, like we got to hurry this story up, we're probably not going to find out. Well, anyway, so they break up into teams. They go, most of the people go to a human world, like the 10 shells and everything. But the main group is for Zebra, Sunny, Coco, Gigi, and Aimaru. They all head toward Area 2. And Aimaru is there, of course, because he can use his like fungus ability to map out a perfect way to Area 2 and then Area 1, of course. So now they get on a leaf and they just start rowing toward Area 2 from Area 3, and this leaf, I guess, doesn't really have any particularly unique properties. It's just a giant leaf they're using as a makeshift boat, while Gigi is just placing a back channel around them, and they're like, why do we have to do this? There's so many better ways. Like, Coco's like, I can just use Poison Doll to make a camping monster. And Sunny's like, I could just use my hair foil to pull it. And Zebra's like, I could jet voice this there in a second. And then Gigi's like, no, shut the fuck up. Preserve your stamina, because this is going to be a big-ass fight we're getting to. And if worse comes to worse, you guys are going to have to fight fucking Neo in the end. So, start rowing, just quit your bitching, right? And so now comes the million-dollar question that everyone brings up. What the fuck is Neo? And Gigi begins to explain. He's like, now while I have you, while we have the chance, while we're traveling, I will tell you about the creature they call Neo. And it's probably going to revive we've already found out it's going to revive very quickly because of the A-demons and everything. But now we cut over to Area 2, where we see Toriko and Starjune, and they're still amongst Guinness here. And it's like Guinness wants to form somewhat of an alliance with Toriko, and because through, Toriko's sense of smell, he learned about the existence of Neo, and I guess, not just the scent of it, but also, like, all the information that Guinness knew. So now, Toriko's about to relay that information to Starjune, and then we cut over to Area 1, where we see the Endless Kitchen, or the Kitchen of Eternity, where we see the Blue Nitro still facing off against Jiro, and Jiro, man, he's looking fucking beast. Like, that literally. No, he's looking literally beast and figuratively beast. Like, his face is all contorted. He's, like, growing teeth and fangs. And the Blue Nitro, Adam, the Blue Nitro with the afro, comes up. And he's like, before you, I guess, stop comprehending words, I'm going to tell you about Neo and that creature's terror. And then finally we cut over to Joa and Joa and Midora, who are still also on Area 2. I guess in just the opposite end of where Toriko and Starjune are. And Joa is going to tell them the origin of Neo. So we have like 4 people about to tell the story all at once. And so we're veering up for now like another flashback, or maybe just a story about it. But Joey brings it up that it is originally something that was so small and insignificant. Neo began as just one lone gourmet cell. Now, I don't know if that means that's the first gourmet cell, because there had to be one. This shit had to start from somewhere. Like, we know that the asteroid thingy came crashing into Earth, burrowed its way into the core, and gourmet cells originated from that over millions of years. But there had to be one. So the one gourmet cell is obviously the oldest and probably the most freaking ravenous. Has the most appetite, I should say. And then that evolved and then met Acacia and then just go from there. Although I might be wrong on this, I'm not sure. But we're finally finding out the past about this thing, so that's great. I don't know how I felt about the chapter. I mean, we're veering up for the final battle here. Like, that's what is happening. We are gearing up for the final battle. We're going to find out what the enemy is, and then we're going to go, like, Jiro versus the Blue Nitro. That's a final battle. Toriko and everybody versus Neo. That's a final battle. That's what's happening now. Maybe we'll get some flashbacks of, like, maybe Sunny and Livebearer will be, not Livebearer anymore, but maybe Sunny's going to be fighting against one of the Blue Nitro, or Neo, and is like, oh, I remember this time we were in Area 4, and blah, blah, blah. A little bit more of elaboration on that. But for the most part, after this flashback with Neo, that's it. Moving on to the fight against Neo. Now, whether the fight against Neo is going to be the cap of the series, now that's up to speculation, because they've been mentioning space an awful lot recently, so I would love them to be, defeat Neo and then go to space, and then a whole new voyage of foods and a whole new experience. Then again, that would be a good device just to end the series. I mean, okay, we defeated Neo, we saved the world, and now we're off to the stars to explore tastes the likes of which anyone's ever seen before. Toriko. End. I mean, that'd be cool. I mean, I'd be fine with that. As long as you make the final battle cool, I guess. But yeah, that's the chapter. Very rushed, gave me whiplash, but you know, I mean, we learned everything we wanted to learn. I mean, the Eight Kings have to play some part in this later on. I mean, they have to show up at some point because we know next to nothing about Emperor Crow or Mother Snake or Skydeer. I just thought of a kick-ass scene where you have Area 1, right? You have the revival of Neo. He's back, and he just curb stomps everybody like Toriko, Starjin, Zebra, Sunny, Coco, Gigi, just out. And then all 8 of the kings show up. And, like, it makes a vortex ring so big, it, like, covers the entire fucking planet. And they go and they just being in the same area together, like, causes static electricity to charge between them. All in the hopes of, we need to kill this fucking thing. That'd be fucking cool. There. Okay, that's how you do a final battle. Alright, anyway. I'm sorry I maybe got you a little bit too excited for that. You know, calm your panties. You know, I don't know. I mean, if that would happen, that would be awesome, but I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Tekking, signing out.